This practical ticket-based video, we're going to talk about implementation of group policy. And I hope you went through all of this video. You saw some demos and learned quite a bit from this video. So we are going to talk about group policy skills requirement for a systems administrator jobs. Now, knowing about group policy is not just for IT systems administrator, it's for IT professionals, support professionals, cybersecurity, and networking. Anybody that is going to be working inside a company as a technical person, especially the IT people, then you should know about group policy because this is where we manage machines. So from management side you need to know, and from security side you also need to know, because if let's say you're going to a computer and you're logging in and you're doing something and it's not working by design, then you need to know that. If you don't know that, you're going to end up spending a lot of time just figuring things out, while somebody will just come and say, hey, oh, this is by design, so it's not going to work. So this is why it's really important for everyone to understand group policy, and that video is important for you to watch the first video. And now we're going to go into the servers, and we're going to learn it just from a systems administrator perspective. So go ahead and scroll down in this video. You're going to see this launch. Go ahead and launch your lab. A quick reminder, we're not doing anything on the left side, so we're going to hide that. And when we do that, this means it's custom process. You need to follow this video step by step, and it will not come with any support, such as this support will not know anything about it. So please watch the video step by step. So let's go ahead and turn on all of these machines. And if I ask you this one question, now you know about this lab system. This is a domain controller. So you already know when you created a domain controller or you have a domain controller that this means we already have a group policy on this domain controller. Now, the machines that are joined to the domain, such as plab M01, which is basically joined to this domain, we got the plab DM01, which is also joined to the domain, but this is a standalone. So if I ask you a question, if we have a group policy implementation on the domain controller, will it work on this machine? Yes. Will it work on this machine? Yes. It's not going to work on standalone machine because this machine is not a part of a domain. It's not being managed. So this group policy will have no impact on this machine. This is just standalone. So we're not going to touch this one too much in this lab. We're going to only touch the ones that are being managed. Even this machine is being managed, so that we are going to touch that. Now, from a systems administrative perspective, if you are new to IT, the most common thing maybe people will check is that, can you tell me where is the account policies in group policy, which is something that you have done quite enough in our lab systems in different courses as well. It should be very easy for you now. So simply you go to the domain controller, you open the domain controller, and then in tools you basically click on tools and you will open group policy management, just like that. And then you can basically go in and check what type of policies people have in their companies, or you as a sysadmin can really start from this and start learning about your company. So what you need to do is expand the domain and then click on, or actually expand the domain again, and this is where your domain policies are available. Default domain policy is something that you're going to see in most of your companies, and then you will see customized group policy, a huge list, maybe fewer list. It depends on the company what they're doing with the group policy. So a best practice is always to name your group policies correctly, so then you know exactly what this is about. If you don't do that, then because of the tiny many things that happens inside group policy, people really have hard time with this. Then if you click on default domain policy, if I click on that, you see I can come to the settings, and what it will do, it will generate a report. This would be a perfect place for a sysadmin to come and show all and just print it out, or maybe take a screenshot and just go through different type of policies that are implemented at the domain default domain policy level. Now here you see that you have information available for the account policy. If you scroll down, if the ticket was to find out what is the current password policy, then you can really come to this report and just take a screenshot or print it. And then you can also, somebody can ask you, can you enable lockout policy inside this system or this domain? And you can come over here and see, okay, this is actually the the lockout policies are not available because you can see that the threshold is 0. And if somebody say, can you enable it? It's simply you're just going to go to the same policy that they're using, the domain policy. You're going to go to the edit right here. And in edit, you can go to the preferences and Windows settings and, oh, sorry, not Windows settings, policies right here, Windows settings right here. And once you open the Windows setting here, this is where you have the security policy, security settings over here. And these are the information that you're seeing in the report is coming from this area. So if you open the account policy, you can see password policies available, and that's where you can come and change the policies. Now that's number one, that this is a very common area that you're going to see as a sysadmin, and this is going to be there for a very long time unless somebody come and say we need to change things, and that's where you need to come and change. Now, if a company say we need to change the account lockout policy or the threshold to more than 5 or 6, you're going to come over here. First, you're going to enable it because it doesn't have that policy enabled. We're going to enable that. And as soon as you do enable, you see there's a 5 invalid, by default. So if you double click here, you can change it to 6, 7, 8, depending on what your company want from you. And then you can just see how granular type of settings you can do with group policy. You can even go to the registry right here and play around with registry by adding a key and things like that. So it goes to that level, which is extremely tiny, miny things. And that is why naming a group policy, running a report on group policy is crucial for a sysadmin, because you're not going to know how many people have came here for the past 10 years in that company and added a lot of bunch of things. How are you going to know? You have to then also know how to run reports from a command line and all that sort of stuff. But this is probably the easiest one to get started. So this is where you will come and implement that group policy, which is the first ticket that if somebody say, hey, we want to enforce the complexity and expiration on all the domain users, then you can come over here and change that. So if I want to say I want to change this to 8 and apply OK. Oh, went to 20. Okay, so we have 8 now. Now, if somebody asks you this question in the interview, how would you force this? So you can say, well, people will restart the computers and that's where they're going to get it. But if they say, can you tell me the command to basically force that? So you can actually go and open the command as an administrator, and you can type this command, which is called gp update slash force. Okay, so you just type that like that, and you see it's updating the policy. It's a very common command that people can ask you in the interview as a sysadmin, that can you do, how would you force a group policy settings? And then you can do it this way. If for some reason your command shows like a hang like this, you can just close it and maybe reopen it, and then go to the commands again like this. And here you can type net accounts. And when you type net accounts command, you see that we have it 8 now. That tells me that my system is working. And if I restart all these machines or do the GP update, that should also work with 8 characters minimum. So these computers will get that policy. So now that you know that coming to a group policy, opening a group policy, you have very powerful access, or let's say a control over computers or users. So that's one thing you should know by as a sysadmin. That's something you're going to come across pretty common. And then you're going to also come across things like, specific OUs, organizational units, will have group policies in the company. So if it's a domain policy here, make sure to open your your company's group policies structure, and then check if they have specific policies uh, against an OU or different type of things happening over here. So the reason it's important for you to know this is that, one, you cannot just rely on default domain policy. Most people will have it very organized. And when you see something like this, and if there is a policy available, this will tell you that, okay, there's something different going on. So because you need to know that information, and if you remember from my previous videos, information is important for you to become a proper IT professional, and an IT professional with less stress. And the more information you know, the better you're going to troubleshoot. And this is where, when you know that, okay, let's under IT, if there was a group policy linked and somebody created a group policy over here, then you know, okay, under IT, whoever is under IT, whether it's a user, computers, and you will know about that policy that they are doing specific things to that machines or user. So this way you already know the information. So let's say if you got a call, you got a project, and it has to do something related to this specific policy, you already know and you're aware of that group policy. Now, to make a group policy under a specific OU or sub OU, you can see I can create one right here, or I can link an existing policy. So if I want to create a new one, I will just name it IT policy. And let's say I'm just going to click OK on that. And now I just created one, and it's going to look like this. So let's say we have a second ticket where we need to deploy application and through group policy. Now, there could be many reasons why you need to use group policy to deploy application via group policy, because sometimes you want computers, when they join, when somebody logs into, let's say, a VPN from home or anywhere, and they join to your network, when they log in with their username and password, and you immediately want to kick in some sort of application and you want every single person to get it in your company, I think group policy would be a good option then. Of course, there are more advanced tools out there that are doing that part too, but group policy can do these type of things to force some sort of settings at the time when user log in. And that's not the one scenario. You can do a lot of other things with software installation. But in this case, what you will do is basically you will first understand how deployment works. So from IT support skills, you already know about how deployment works. So I'm not going to talk about specific deployments here for like software deployment, and you have done that in the IT support world. So now what we need to do, the first thing is to make sure that you go back to your manager, and what are we targeting over here? So let's go to Active Directory and users, because group policy and Active Directory kind of works hand in hand. You need to have those users, computers in Active Directory for group policy to actually do something to it. So if you come over here, we see we got the computers right here, but it's not under IT department. So the first thing we need to find out is that where's the IT department? Let's go ahead and find it. I think it's in under this one. So let's go ahead and drop a computer that we want to implement the group policy. So this is going to be PLAB Win10. So we're going to do this at the computer level. So let's just drag and drop it to the IT and say yes. So now it's a part of that OU. All right, next we are going to work on a share folder where the file that you download for deployment can be added. So let's go to our C drive in this same server. Now, again, when it comes to sharing a file or what to use, where to use, this is up to your company. They will tell you exactly what to do in this scenario, because you're new to the company and you may not know how they do sharing and what type of things they use. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to right click here and we're going to create a folder, and we're going to name it share, and right click. And to share, you probably already know this from the IT support skill set, but you go to properties, go to sharing, and depending on what type of sharing you use, we're going to use advanced sharing, share this folder, and we are going to do a permission. Again, this is up to your company how they do permissions. We're going to do every one in this case, and apply and OK, and apply and OK again. And you see we got the share path. This is something that's important for deployment of software, and other machines should be able to access this path. So we're going to close this, and now we're going to go ahead and open our IE, and you're going to go to tools, and here we are deploying a 7-zip file, which is basically an MSI. Now, when you are doing a deployment from GPO group policy, it has to be a .msi. Now you must be wondering, where am I going to get all these MSI files? You just go to the vendor, the product, or go to Google and say, okay, Zoom MSI download, FileZilla MSI download. Major applications have MSI available, or if this is a unique vendor, then you just basically contact them and they will have it available. So we're going to download this file and copy it into our folder that we have created for share. So right click, go to copy, go to C drive, go to share, and then basically paste it. Now we are going to have to create a deployment through group policy. So what we are going to do, we are going to go to our group policy, which is under IT. We're going to right click, go to edit. And once we go to edit, you see we have computer policies right here. We're going to expand that. And you see there's a software deployment settings. So when you right click here, you see there's new and then there's package. If I click on package, this is where you can't just go directly from C to temp. It doesn't work that way because of the sharing permissions. The other machines cannot see that sort of share. So you have to do the file share path. That's why you did the network path. This is very important, or else you're going to get error. And when we do this, you see we got the share popped up. This means it's available. I can see it, and I'm going to double click on it, and then I get this message. So I am going to use assigned right here, which basically I want to push it out. The rest of the information you can research. If you want to do more advanced, like, you want to change things, add some scripts and things like that, once you get better at group policy, maybe you should check into advanced. So now we have added that, and it's a part of our, our group policy. This is how it's going to look. Now, because we're targeting this machine, you know that if the machine is currently on and it's running, it's not going to get a group policy unless it's doing its first initial login. So it may work at the login part, or it may require you to restart the machine. So we may have to do these things. So one is then when you basically log into this machine for the first time, you can actually check if 7-zip is already there after a few minutes. So we're going to wait for it and let the group policy do its thing. If it's not working, then of course we need to then check it by restarting the machine. So if I just do this, you see I don't see that. And if I open CMD as an administrator, and I can do gp/update/force. So then you get this message that it tells you it must be processed before the system startup or user log on. So we need to restart this machine for it to work. So even it tells you, because when you do the GP update force it, then it gives you that information. So right now we do have to restart. So we're just going to say yes. And it says you're about to sign out. That's fine. We're going to wait for it to restart. If you don't want to wait, you can just right click and restart just like that. And if you are using these labs, and another powerful feature I showed you before is a console mode, so you can see how the startup works. So this is like exactly how you're going to see the machine. So you should use console mode if you have issues with just a normal login. So here I'm going to go ahead and use the password and log in now, and let's check if 7-zip is being installed. So now I had logged in, and the group policy should be happy at this point. So we're gonna check and wait for the 7-zip. Now, keep in mind that sometimes applications can be a little tricky, and they may require more like silence and things like that, and that could lead you to advance. So you have to do your own research on Google. Specifically, whatever you're installing, you need to do that research. But here you go, 7-zip is already there now. That is what we were talking about, is that when you want to push a software to hundreds of machines, and you want to make sure that it goes to that machine, then group policy is the best way to do it, because it's really the machine is connected to a domain. There's no way they can escape that. They will have to go through this installation or whatever you have done in group policy. They will get it there because of you defining that. Now, another really cool tool that you can use is called basically RSOP. This is kind of like a tool that you can see how group policy is being implemented live on the user profile. So you can go to the user profile and go to run and type rsop.msc. So when you basically type that, you see it runs this and tells you the how this policy is being implemented on this specific machine and the username. It's really cool because you can see the login mode is administrator and the machine name is plab, that one. So you can come over here and you can see, okay, you know what, this is a group policy that's being implemented from the domain level resultant set of policy, that's the name. And when you come over here and you click on software installation, you see that assign group policy is already there. And any other policies, you can actually come over here and then you can check that from this sort of, tool. Is really cool because it can really tell you what type of implementations are done on this computer. You can also do this from a command line, just do a little research. You can do this from a CMD, print it out to a file or text. You can do that sort of things if you want to share that information with somebody else. Now, this is at a operating system level type of skills where you go into a domain or you open a group policy editor and you do a lot of things. But remember, as a systems administrator, we do use third party software. Of course, we're not being paid by these software. These are just a name that if you know and you put it on your resume, then people know that you have spent some time in IT and you know that that's how we work. We don't just go to group policy like this all the time and try to figure things out or try to see what the changes are. We actually go with a well-known product that almost many of 80 or 70% of IT professionals use it to make their job easy. So as a sysadmin, you need to also keep that in mind that it's not just about you knowing things in server, it's the tools that we also use. So one of the major tools that I'm going to tell you, if you have that on your resume, then people will know that you haven't done just like a normal video and then you went in inside the server, created the group policy. That's it, right? You actually know more as a sysadmin. For your resume purpose and for your skill set, let's go to plab DM01. This is going to be the machine that we're going to use for that purpose. So it's already joined to the domain. And in this case, when you join a company, another sysadmin or your manager will say, "Well, we use Networks, ADManager Plus for Active Directory management and group policy management." So in this, we are going to basically the first thing we will do is we will open a Internet Explorer and we'll go to Google and download a Google browser because we don't want to download these things on IE, which is the old version here. So let's go ahead and download Chrome, download just like that. And let's go ahead and download that by accepting the agreement. And let's scroll down to the download. Let's just click on one download installation file. You can download it the way you want to, but I just quickly went to find the download. So let's go ahead and download that. And on the bottom, the download will come over here and then run this so we can get the latest browser in this server. And then what we'll do, we will install ADManager Plus from Manage Engine. Now, remember these names because it's important. You want to put this on your resume. So let's go ahead and don't sign in, skip this part and accept this, whatever these messages are, so we can get to this part. And what you need to do is type Manage Engine. This is a company, and we're going to look for ADManager Plus. Okay, we're going to do that. Now, Manage Engine is a company and the ADManager is a product. So this is a skill that you are going to put on your resume. And that is what's going to make a big difference when you start talking about this in the interviews. So where did I go? Here. So let's go down and I'm not going to click the add version. I'm going to come down and look at the download right here. So it's download, free download. Let's click on download and see what we get. So we're just going to do a free trial and we're going to download it just like that. And I clicked on the download. This could take some time because you're in the lab environment. So keep that in mind. Just be patient with this. It's already downloading, I believe, on the back end. So let's see where it is. Click on download here. There you go. So now, once you have that available, we're going to go into that folder and we're going to right click and basically run it as administrator. Now, this is something that maybe another experienced system administrator have already done, and they will just give you access. Or this could be someone, a project for you, like, hey, we are looking for Active Directory and group policy type of management tool, and I think this is one of the top ones. So why don't you do a meeting with them, Networks or other companies, and then pick one. That's how it works as a sysadmin. So let's say we pick Manage Engine ADManager Plus for now in this scenario, and we're gonna set it up so we can manage everything in our company now to do this part. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're gonna wait for everything to finish and let's say click next. Yes. and we'll keep everything default. And 8080 is the port that we're going to access. These are web-based access, so we're going to click next here and click next and finish it. Now, once it's finished, you can go ahead and let's go ahead and run it, and let's see which browser it will open. If it opens in IE, we may have to stop it and run it in the Chrome. Now, again, we are not promoting this product. It's just being used, and that is the reason we are telling you that in the companies, they will look for external third-party products like this one. And putting this on your resume is what's going to make you look unique than other people who just kind of go through some sort of lab videos and they just work on the group policy inside the server. And that's not how we work as a sysadmins. We do use these products. So that's the skill set that you're going to add. I'm reminding this again to our members that this is important piece that you need to put on your resume. So here, choose the browser, choose the default browser for Chrome. So we're going to do that. And we're going to click OK. By default, it's going to come with the admin and the password is right here. And you see the authentication is ADManager plus authentication. So we're going to log in, but because we have to configure it. So to configure this first, we need to make sure that first it talks to our domain. Is it connected to our domain? Yes or no? We'll find that out right now. So if we come over here, let's say we're going to come over here. You see number of users are 9. So we're going to click just like that. So the way it's picking up those users and everything like that is because of the domain connected connection. Now you can go to domain tenant and setting. This is the first piece that you're going to come and actually check things over here if things are not working. This is where it picked that domain controller because this machine is a part of a domain controller. That's why it automatically did that. If it's not doing that, you have to come over here and you have to add a domain and do all these settings. So if I go to edit, you're going to have to exactly type it this way. Domain name is the full using the full domain name. Then the domain controller is plabdc01 dot practicelab.com. You need to put it this way, and then you need to use the user and the password to make it work. It's going to show success. Then what you need to do, because we're working only on group policy, we're going to go to reports right here. And in reports, we are going to click on GPO reports right here. Now, of course, you can use this product for other things like Active Directory user reports, password reports, and then many other things that you want to use it for. It can pull information from Active Directory, like when you add a users, when you modify users, and many things can happen over here. But for the manager, you can go and change things around and play around with this product just to get better at it. But for now, we are only looking into GPO reports. So if you come over here and you see recently modified GPO, if I click on this and I generate a report, I see that I get two modifications. So one is that one I did in default domain policy, and then it will give me the modification date. And then we have this right here available. The IT policy is right here available as well. I can do certain things like enable enable computer configuration only, all that kind of stuff from here as well. But of course, this really powerful stuff is going on over here because it gives you that report immediately, and you can make a some sort of notification for yourself. So if somebody changed something in your group policy, you may get an email and alerts and things like that. Is really powerful. So the whole point of using these type of products is makes our job extremely easy because we cannot go to these servers and tiny things and find the changes and find the edits and find the modification through scripts and things like that. That's just not the normal way. We will have to use a product for that. And if it's not from Microsoft, it has to be third party like this one. So you can see when I come to the management, I can also go to the GPO management here and I can manage group policy, force GPO update. So if I have a lot of machines, I can actually click on here and force that. Remember that I was talking about maybe if we have some sort of tool, we can actually force that update. So I can actually click on apply and it's going out there and forcing the GPO update on all of those machines that are available. Now, in this lab environment, if it doesn't work, that's fine. You don't have to really worry about this. So just to kind of go back to the reports right here, you can play around with all these other reports. Take some time, play around with this, and at least you should be able to say that you have done projects on ADManager Plus for group policy, so add this to your resume. That's the whole point of this video. You're not becoming a master or becoming an expert of this specific product. That's not the point. You can always go to Google, YouTube, and find more videos about ADManager Plus if you would like to learn more about it. But the whole point of this is that you are just taking this product, putting it on your resume, because this is what people look for. If they say we're looking for somebody at least a little would have a little experience, we're not just hiring somebody who just went to college, did Active Directory, add a group policy, and done. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody who also have a knowledge or understanding that we use these type of products in the companies. And this, when you put this ADManager Plus or Netrix or other type of products, that's the niche, or that's the uniqueness of your resume that is going to get picked up because of this stuff, because that's what we know as an IT professionals. And we say, oh, wow, this person knows that ADManager Plus, that's what we use, or we use something similar. So your chances of getting picked becomes very high. Thank you so much.